we know there's been an issue of contention. Just 3 days ago, the president elaborated on some key highlights of the manifesto of the NDC, and as what they always say, and what he started, he says you have to do it yourself, and so he decided to highlight some of the key actionable points in that very manifesto. But this seems to have also elicited a lot more reaction from the main opposition party, the MPP. They convened a press conference towards the latter part of yesterday, or the news day yesterday, and it was addressed by the director of communications of the party, Nana Akomea, on some issues raised in the manifesto highlight that they seem to think is almost a copy and paste of the MPP's own ideas. I'll get some reaction first from Abraham Amalba. Thanks, and please react to the MPP for me.
Let me say good morning to your viewers. When I heard Nana Akomea yesterday, I felt we were engaged in kindergarten politics.
What's the meaning of that?
Child politics, children politics. Like those days when we were playing football, a child will come out with his football. When you score him 10 goals, then you carry the football and say, I'm going back home, you won't play again.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, those days,
I remember.
It's like that.
Like he owns it.
He owns the
everybody
ball.
is.
Yes, so if you are scoring him, then he has to take his ball back.
That is not akin to some of these things that Nana Akomea
is facing. It is. Why? You want to ask the question whether the MPP is even ready for these elections.
What do you mean?
You expect that an opposition party that wants to come to power would be the first to elect its presidential candidate, which they did. Will be the first to go and campaign because they are at a disadvantaged position. They want to come to power. Will be the first to come out with its manifesto because you want to catch the attention of the electors. What are we seeing? The MPP told us that they will not come out with their manifesto because, once again, a kindergarten explanation, the NDC will copy it. The NDC has gone ahead, gave highlights of its manifesto on Tuesday. Then what do we hear? The very same Nana Akomea who said that they will not allow the NDC to copy their manifesto. So for that matter, they are holding their manifesto close to their chest. And so it presumes that, or the assumption is that, we have not seen the manifesto, because that's why they didn't bring it out. We have not seen it. Now we come out with our manifesto, and Nana Akomea, in a press statement, in a press conference yesterday, said that the NDC had copied their manifesto again. So, how else are we going to come out of our manifesto? Are we now going to bury our heads in the sand, let the MPP come out with its manifesto, then we'll now wash the sand out of our face, then when we come and read our manifesto, it will be that we have not copied them?
Let me ask you some key issues. For example, the president in the highlights said a commission will be put together. They will look at considerations from the citizenry or interested regional groupings for the creation of 5 more regions. The MPP's flag bearer went to the Western region, promised them a Western North region. Now, we have other highlights, for example, making sure that they provide tractors for various districts. They want to do a lot of initiatives that seem to be akin to what the MPP had been espousing or seem to be saying through its campaigns the last few months.
If you are political alive in this country, you will know that there has always been agitations from the people of this country to create new regions. In fact, as early as Liman's administration, the Gunja side of the northern Ghana wanted a region as far back as Liman's time. So the issue of people wanting to create regions is not new. The president indicated that rather than doing it in a knee-jerk reaction, and don't forget that creating of regions, if you don't do it well, can lead to conflict. So he said that what we will do is to put out a commission that will look at the modalities. This is to address the growing concerns of our citizens who are calling for separate regions. The call for separate regions did not just start under this Fourth Republic. And so it is not a creation or an idea of the MPP. And so don't let anybody say that because Nana Akufo-Addo went to Western and said you create Western North, that's why we have responded. We are in government and we receive petitions from people who want separate regions. And we say that together we will do that. The next one, which is the service centers, farming service centers. Look, the president was in far away in Fumbisi when he made that statement that we need to have service centers where farmers in the districts would go to that service center, those who cannot afford tractors, and at subsidized rates have their farms plowed. That's the agric mechanization policy. And I can tell you that the Deputy Attorney General went to Qatar to sign an agreement in respect of these service centers, together with the Minister of Agric.
Including building irrigation dams, etc.
The irrigation dams, Tamni, we sat here and reviewed it. Tamni in Boku, we sat here and reviewed it. How many
Not because Nanado said one village, one dam.
We didn't even say that. We even criticized that and said that, are they talking about dugouts? Are they talking about dams? Or are they talking about
barrage dams?
Barrage dams or is it boreholes? And we said that, first and foremost, you have to look at the factors, whether or not there is even water in that community, a stream, where you can barricade it and then do the dump. If you are talking about dugouts don't last for long. It's only for the rainy season. A dugout is just to contain rainwater. After which, collect. After that, it goes. So, we have well thought out plans for these things. It is not for them to say that we have copied them. These are our original ideas. Anyway, didn't they say they won't bring out their manifesto because we'll copy them? So how did we copy? If you have your paper close to your chest in an exam, how can I copy you?
Well, that's a very straight question to you, Richard, because it's almost as if it's as a question for me.
I would like to say good morning to the membership of the MPP and the entire population, and also wish Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Is he in town? I know he traveled.
No, he's in town.
He's not in town. He's not in town.
Nanado was at a bar conference. I mean, you guys.
I know he traveled.
You guys, the man was at the bar conference just 2 days ago. So where did he go?
No, it was announced that he was going.
Maybe if he has come.
See, the NDC continued to even issue press releases on behalf of individuals. Okay. Sometimes you know these things.
So you see it on the net.
I mean, don't ignore them. And I would like to say good morning to Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the incoming president of Ghana. I was extremely forcing myself to understand the sort of argument my brother Amandeba was trying to put forward. And it does appear that, as usual, like the NDC manifesto, you look at it and you cannot actually get a head and tail of the whole analysis that he was putting together.
They pinpointed certain things they will do.
And I come to
it which even your party has reacted.
I'll refute them and crush them.
And said completely. That it's a copy of yours.
Don't worry, let me tell you. You see, the dishonesty that has engulfed the NDC and their way of politicking is extremely terrible and very, very bad. Let me tell you. Remember when Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo spoke about the fact that he was going to create the Western North from the Western region. The NDC people said that, why do you do that? Now, let me read something for you. Kwaku Ahido said, Nanado Dankwa, after destroying MPP, wants to divide Western region. So he said, Nanado has divided MPP, so he wants to divide the people of Western region. They understand that? The idea is that we want to create confusion in the Western region. This is what he said. But speaking on Abusia FM, hosted by Kwame Adinkra, Mr. Yudowo entreated Ghanaians not to buy the idea by Nanado Dankwa to divide Western region. saying the policy is not feasible. According to him, the flag bearer of MPP, if not monitored closely, would divide the country. He believes creating a region out of the Western region will amount to creating deep division within the people of Western region. That's the thinking. Then the next time around, you wake up to say, okay, no, you are going to create 5 additional regions. So what are you going to do? Are you going to also create confusion in those regions that you are anticipating to create? Beyond that, in 2008 NDC manifesto, NDC and President Mahama said that when given the opportunity, they will divide the northern region into 2. Has it happened 8 years down the line? It's still there. And it was replicated in their 2012 manifesto. So it tells you that there's no serious commitment. They don't understand the issues. So they are busily copying all over. I tell you, because if we're in one breath...
But if they say 2008, 2012, and Anado has gone ahead, so who is copying who?
I'm giving you...
Answer the question. Who's copying
who? You know, I didn't come to your argument when you were making those analyses. I tell you something. There are 2 things here. They put forward an idea that they wanted to do 2008. They didn't do it. They couldn't do it. They understand that. When we said we are going to do it, they told us that it was not a good idea. And it's amount to creating division, dividing the people, creating chaos. And this is the Deputy General Secretary of NDC speaking. So now if you are telling me that you are going to create 5 additional regions, what are you telling me? It is pure political gimmick. And that is what we want Ghanaians to see through. Beyond that, when we said that we are going to create one village, one dam for the people of the northern regions, did you hear the argument they put across? It is not possible. It is not feasible. Then along the line, somebody said, oh, no, it is possible because if we have started doing it already, because SADA is doing that. We've heard that. Some of them even told us that when you create dams for the people of the northern region to be able to enhance their agricultural practices, it's going to breed mosquitoes. NDC people and their collaborators were telling the good people of this country that creating dams that would help the people enhance their agricultural practices and give them good yields would amount to helping them breed mosquitoes for the country. So it means that we need to buy volumes of mosquito repellents for these particular dams if we want to go in that direction. What did you hear from the president? He said that they are doing it, they are going to continue with it. So you see the sort of thinking behind them. These things can even be tied into this free education concept. Remember when we said that we were going to do free education? These people ran adverts and spent huge sums of money telling Ghanaians that actually ran over 38 adverts, telling Ghanaians that it is not possible. The president said, oh, because you are saying we give free education to the people, the next time around we'll be promising free air. Did you hear what they said? When they got the opportunity to come to power, they said they are going to practice, they are going to implement free education, but they are going to do it progressively. But you know what it is? When you look at the day schools, the amount of fee that have been approved by GES is 480 Ghana cedis. Ask yourself, how much is the government paying out of that attempt? 118 cedis. Do you call that one progressive free education? That is a rebate or a subsidy that is offered the student. So you can't call it free education. But because of the fact that these people are just not the people who continue to think about the ideas, they borrow them from elsewhere. They do not understand how to implement them. There was an aspect of cashew marketing board, which Nanado has already spoken about. And he was talking about the fact that MPP have not launched a manifesto. You see, what we've done is that, like what they did, they are highlighting. We continue to tease out the various portions of our manifesto in our campaign trail. And you follow Nanado. I'm sure you've heard the Zongo Development Fund. You've had 1 district, 1 factory. You had 1 village, 1 dam. You've had $1 million for each constituency. Do you understand that? We heard about the fact that companies that would take on fresh graduates from school will be given tax rebates. I know you heard about the fact that when MPP is in power, we're going to reduce corporate taxes. We've heard about the fact that when MPP is given the opportunity to come to power and we are in power, we make sure that when we are importing raw materials, you not pay duties on them. We also said that you are not going to pay duties on machinery. Assuming you are bringing machines that will help you process some of the things in this country, we are going to do all these things for you. All these things are some of the highlights of our manifesto, which we've already spoken about. But when it comes to the NDC, because they cannot conceive the idea and think through and bring these ideas into fruition, they continue to steal from the MPP. And that's the difficulty with them.
So that's why the press conference was convened by
the idea is
director
to let Ghanaians understand that if you want a political party that understands the Ghanaian situation, a political party that knows how to resolve the issues, a political party that was not coming to create, loot, and share the wealth of the nation, then the party to think about and to vote for is the MPP.
Okay.
Because we said, and we've done, remember the health insurance scheme? We introduced it. Those times they walked out of parliament. They said they don't want to be part. When they were campaigning, they said they will give us one-time premium payment. Ask yourself, what happened to that dream 8 years down the line? We MPP brought in free maternal care. That if you are pregnant and you go to deliver, you walk home free without paying anything. What happened to that policy now? We brought in the Metro Mass. We've done a lot of laudable innovation for
social intervention.
So to ask yourself, a party that says.
So which date are you going to launch your party manifesto?
Oh, I think somewhere in October.
In October.
We are looking at that.
So if you launch your party manifesto, and there seems to be a replica of what the NDC already has highlighted and subsequently launched, which will be on the 17th. Which will be on the 17th. Who would have copied who then?
You see, it's a simple thing for you to appreciate the issues.
Wouldn't it have been better if you had brought yours first, then NDC brings their second, and that would have been a replication of yours?
Over the years, that's what they've been doing. They've always been waiting for MPP to launch, and they'll steal the whole.
So now they have launched, but you are saying they've copied your manifesto, which you have not yet launched.
Yeah, we've given the various aspects of it. You know it, and those form part of the manifesto.
But the ideas that. But the highlight that the president gave, Richard.
He also gave a highlight of his manifesto.
Wait. The highlight that the president gave.
Yeah.
And the things or the points that you are contending with.
Yeah.
Okay, or you are contesting.
Yeah.
Do not only include those points. They include actually a lot more, tens of others.
Right.
Actually, we have. I think I noted about 65 or so.
Yeah.
And what you are pointing about, if it's the contention is about dams and irrigation, etc., they're not more than 10. The president. Our
manifesto, the thesis that we're giving, now we're giving over 25 of them.
Okay.
What we want to do for the people of this country.
So let's say the NDC took 25 out of 65 that we were able to mark on that day of the highlight.
What you need to understand is that in their manifesto highlights, it is made up of ideas stolen from the MPP manifesto. Do you understand that?
But you haven't launched your manifesto.
And rehash, no, we've given them various
on your campaign trail.
On your campaign trail. And also ideas that have already propagated in their previous manifesto that they've not been able to.
So your argument is that they've stolen the highlights of your manifestos, and then they are rehashing their old ones.
Their old ones. That's what they've done.
That's the composition of what their manifesto is.
That's what they've done, basically.
That's very interesting.
It is strange that we have not seen your manifesto, but yet we have copied it. And he says that.
But we haven't even seen your manifesto too.
He says that they have been going around highlighting their manifesto. See, he talks about the MPP coming out with national health insurance, and that we walked out of parliament. They did not even just walk out of parliament, but they led people onto the streets to be killed when we introduced VAT. Nana Akufo-Addo's hands are dripping with blood for leading people out there
talking about blood,
to be killed. When they came, one thought that because of the campaign against VAT, they will scrap it. Ask them what they did. They increased the threshold. That's for them. He sits here and talk about broken promises. I'm sure when you live in a glass house, you don't throw stones. They indicated in their manifesto 2008 that they were going to give every Ghanaian, able-bodied Ghanaian who is willing to work a job to do.
You mean 2000?
2000. And so you always listen to their kind of promises they make. Wild promises which can be termed as outrageous promises. You will give every Ghanaian, even in the US, they've not given every American work to do. But that's what they said. They, again, said that they were going to ensure that our slums and our slums are, say, Nima,
that's never true.
Agbogloshi. They were going to turn those places into high-rise buildings.
And that's never true.
See,
which portion of the
where has that happened?
Which portion of
the outrageous one, outlandish one, was the one they said they were going to turn chop bars.
Look at that.
Chop bars into restaurants.
Look at that.
These people.
People are tickling yourself and laughing. Who will say that?
Now,
it's never true.
You need to look at the state of MPP today and ask yourself whether you want Ghana to be like MPP. Ever since President Kufuor handed over MPP to Nana Akufo-Addo, see the sordid state of MPP today. Is that the sort of person you want him to become president of this country?
What has he done? What has he done, and in what state do you think the MPP is? The MPP is in a very good state, the biggest opposition party as well.
The last time I checked, there were about more than 500 people. Just last week, I heard Swame, the chairman there, has been suspended. About 500 people in the MPP who have been suspended.
Well, how many executives do you have?
I'm not saying, did I say executive? I said
so
people in the MPP.
That's not true.
Have been suspended. That's not the kind of MPP that President Kufuor gave out. The kind of MPP we find today, where their national headquarters has become a security zone, where there are cutlasses.
Look at that.
Cudgels.
Those are incidents that happened.
I am saying that the
months
state of
ago.
MPP, yes.
Even the last year also.
Would you even want
They've
Ghana?
passed that, haven't they?
Good.
They wanted that.
Would you even want Ghana? Would you even want Ghana for one day to look like that state of MPP we found ourselves? They found themselves. Even one day, one day, would you want MPP to be like that? So, Akufo-Addo's stewardship in the MPP is nothing to write home about for you to be saying that the alternative is MPP. The alternative cannot be MPP. The NDC currently is providing what the people of this country need. Look at the massive infrastructure development. Look at the hospitals. At first they said that, oh, we have borrowed too much. There's nothing to show. When we started pointing at them, they shifted the goalposts and said that, oh, but these things cost more than how much you said they are. And that's why the president described them as political quantity surveyors. And you begin to think that these are people who do not want anything good for this country. Once things are happening, they find ways and means to poo-poo it. You cannot, for once, say that the 123 schools built at various stages of completion in this country.
Now you even promised 200.
Yes.
But who said they've even built 123?
123
I know, we know stages,
at various stages of completion. Some have been completed, awaiting commissioning, some are at various stages. You cannot say that this massive infrastructure development is not something that would propel this country to what we are looking for. And I would dare to say that, just like Nkrumah, just like how they hounded Nkrumah and told Nkrumah that he has plunged the country into debt, that's the same strategy they are using.
But we're really in debt. Our debt to GDP ratio is as
I see. You have allowed them to hoodwink you. What I see, when I throw my eyes about, what I see is investment.
Okay.
In the buildings, I see investment. I see this. I see this.
But the debt to GDP.
I don't see debt. I see these E-blocks, this huge elephant blocks,
as investment over time,
and they will live over 50 years.
That reminds me. I was reading some literature just 2 days ago on Kwame Nkrumah and the things he said.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Let me come to my brother here.
I see investment.
He was talking about killings. And I don't like NDC, and I hate to say.
Oh, you're talking about his reference to Kumi Preku.
When I hear NDC talk about killings, I get frustrated. You know why? We have NDC and the antecedents, the PNDC, which is tied to the umbilical cord of the current NDC, with the current crop of leadership.
So
practically killing 3 former heads of states, a champion, a FIFA, and the rest.
Okay.
People were shot for less.
Okay.
Now we have the lives of Woyomi and all the looting brigades still walking on the street of Accra. You have the guts to talk about people who were protesting that you use the state machinery to kill them.
Point made.
Do you understand that? This is NDC talking.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move forward. This is an NDC Amaniba talking about suspensions. It was NDC that suspended Kofi Adams.
But we've moved on. That was in the first one. Now he's talking about...
No, in this current...
He's talking about...
I noted
the thrust.
Yes. Don't worry, I'll go to the
thrust of his argument.
But let me...
Is that whatever it is that the NDC brings, there's an indication from the MPP that you want to rubbish it just for the sake of politics.
No, I'll get there. He's talking about suspension. Kofi Adams was suspended by the NDC.
For what?
Dr. Joshua Aye, but all these people were suspended for
challenging Nana Akufo-Addo.
Who said somebody has been suspended for challenging?
That is what has happened.
When the person went to court, what did the court tell them? The court told us that whatever processes that was used, including the procedures, were lawful and fair.
They were legitimate.
Legitimate. So what are you talking about? The same court that endorsed President Mahama and made him the president now, and we are still going through this sort of commotion. It's the same court that gave this particular ruling.
It's not
and you are running away from it.
It's not that same court.
And let me tell you something.
The courts are different.
I mean, you understand it. All of us have backgrounds in law. All of us have backgrounds in law. You understand. When you say the court, when you say the same court, they're talking about legal system. The legal regime. No, listen. You understand it. Don't try to belittle the issues and dilute the argument. You understand it.
There are hierarchy of courts.
We know the hierarchy. There
so don't say that it's the same court.
But when I say the same court,
you are communicating to the legal system.
The legal system.
So explain yourself.
I'm giving you further clarification, and now you know it. So let's continue with the argument. I tell you something. The same court gives this ruling, but when it comes to Dr. Joshua Aye and the likes, you do not even give them this opportunity to go through these processes. Dr. Joshua Aye doesn't even know what he's done so at the moment. He doesn't know. He continues to hang around.
Continue on the other one.
But come back to the issue. It was the blood of Rawlings and the wife Nana Akufo-Addo that created the NDC, for which all of you have become major beneficiaries. Today, where is Nana Akufo-Addo Ajima Rawlings? She's gone out of the party because of the corruption and the
Can you speak to the issue of whatever it is that the NDC
in terms of unity, MPPs united and solidly behind Nana Akufo-Addo, who get 94% in the elections. 94. President Mahama contested nobody. It was election for him. So that popular acclamation that took place. You know what happened? The man got over 61,000 NDC members voting against him. But they don't want him to be a president. NDC people, his own party members. So it tells you the deep-seated confusion and the thought of the NDC members is that this man cannot carry us to the promised land.
That is your man.
Let me come back to the main issue.
Whatever it is that they bring, they said you are quick to rubbish it.
But have they really come out any innovative idea? You come to think of it. Apart from projects that you can see here.
You didn't find the president's highlights and what
the president has never been motivating. When he speaks me, I don't get encouraged. It depresses me. Do you understand that? And when I see the president speak,
really?
Always. And let me tell you, apart from the few...
So who motivates you? Nana Akufo-Addo?
Nana Akufo-Addo and other great
leaders. The man who's not even audible. The man who's not even audible.
So let me come back to the main issue. Apart from the few
I want to end on this. I want to touch on the subject of ECG.
The few projects that you can see here and there, which anybody can possibly give a contract to. The looting that has gone on with these projects. Let me give you a classic example. Pon Katamanso here. MTN Foundation, as part of their corporate social responsibility, went and constructed 6 unique classroom blocks at the cost of 180,000 Ghana cedis. GNA report, 15th December 2015. The same period, government of Ghana went and constructed the same 6 unique classroom block. Even that one lacks other amenities. MTN went Pon Katamanso district.
No, I know for MTN.
And that was also reported.
And the government of Ghana to is at Pon Katamanso.
Yeah, GNA report 28th of November 2015. You know what happened? A government owned cost the nation 510,000 Ghana cedis. Over 5 billion old Ghana cedis.
5 billion?
Old Ghana cedis.
5 billion?
Yeah, 5 billion old Ghana cedis. So the question is, how come government is constructing one school that MTN Foundation can construct.
MTN constructed for 1.8 billion.
1.8 and
billion.
And they are doing it at 5. And
why don't you just use 180,000 and you'll be free?
The point is,
and use 500 and
something.
something.
I want the older people who understand this to follow
political communication.
So the
I get your point.
These people are looting us.
Okay, Richard.
Beyond that, see Kumasi runway, Kumasi Airport runway. The runway cost the nation just pour quota on the road. And some
is that how they just
that's exactly what happened.
Is that what they did?
Bro, it cost the nation $24 million.
This before.
But as we speak, Kenya,
in aviation,
Rwanda, they've done complete brand new airport bigger than Kumasi Airport, and it cost them $12 million. $12 million. I'm telling you. Okay. And you see, even the Volta region, the whole airport that they said they are going to.
Is it a airport or is it a horodrome?
Whatever it is, they are building from the scratch.
Aerodrome.
They are building from the scratch, and it's costing the nation $25 million. It tells you how these people are looting, stealing our money. Stealing the money belonging to the ordinary people.
The United States
is going away.
There's a current issue with the compact that we'll be getting from the Millennium Challenge Authority. Yeah. And we know we have MIDA here, our own conceptualized authority here. But the concern of workers of ECJ is that there's a caveat within that very agreement that says after 5 years, then they can do something about the worker or the workforce. But from now to the time of the next 5 years, nothing could be done. The U.S. ambassador is also saying that, well, the concessionary period is 25 years, but there could be room for some touch and go amendments or the other as far as this is concerned on the project of having a private participation in the management of ECG. It's become a huge contention for the workers. Are you worried about the seemingly uneasy tension that is brewing at ECG? I'll start with you, Abraham.
ECG currently has challenges. And so we all agree that when you look at ECG now, you cannot even take ECG's books to any bank to attract any investment. As I speak to you now, we have generation exceeding our demand. We have 110 megawatts of energy in surplus. But as we speak now, I'm sure some people cannot watch us, not because of lack of generation, but because of our inability to distribute. We have obsolete machines. So there was a need to partner the private sector to be able to ensure that ECG becomes vibrant and buoyant. So on that score, the compact is good because it's coming to improve upon the efficiency of ECG. The workers' concern has been that this will lead to layoffs. Time would outnumber. The Minister of Finance, the Deputy Minister for Power, John Jinakor, has indicated that no, there's not going to be layoffs. Just yesterday, I heard the chairman, the chief executive of the compact in Ghana, engineer something, I've forgotten his name, who also indicated that there wouldn't be layoffs. So workers are protected. I was happy to hear from the ambassador, U.S. ambassador, that the clauses can be reviewed and that it is not cast in stone. And so for me, it appears that probably the workers have not been brought on board to understand what the compact has for them. I think that probably from the word go, from the scratch, if the workers were involved. But I also heard explanation from John Jinakor that the leadership of the workers group has changed. So they were dealing with one leadership group, and I'm sure this new leadership group would want to also be part of the processes. And so that is why that kind of misunderstanding. But the compact is a bold decision by government to ensure that ECG becomes efficient. And I'm sure that the people of this country would want an efficient ECG and not an ECG that is unable to meet its obligations. So that is where the problem is. But I think that we need to involve the workers more in this matter.
To have a certain buy-in.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of issues that the ordinary Ghanaian have not been made aware in terms of this ECG arrangement. There are three things. The first point is that ECG And my brother said at the moment we have over 100 and something megawatts available, and that's not true. At it stands now, we are importing over 30% of our energy, our power from Ivory Coast.
That's a lie.
At the moment.
That's a lie.
At the moment, we are importing
That's
30% of what we use now.
That's
because of the difficulties with some of the
VRA
power badges, because they cannot get gas to be
there's gas.
Supply.
There's gas. There's gas.
There are other
at the end of this day yesterday,
you know there's gas. You know that they shut down for 1 week and they've come back. There's gas.
At the end of news day yesterday,
there's gas.
Are you done?
You are lying to the
people.
Are you
done?
Okay, sir.
No, are you done?
There's gas.
Please, Richard, continue. Richard, my time is getting up.
This information became evident just 2 days ago.
There's gas.
At the forum that the group against the coalition against the concession of ECG, we had a program at Lisa Hotel.
It was broadcast.
And you know who spoke about that? It was even from the MIDA board, MIDA boss. He spoke about the fact that as it stands now, that's what's happening. The next point is that government owes ECG 780 million Ghana cedis. The point is 780 million Ghana cedis. Government haven't paid the money to ECG. How do you expect a company to operate and sort the few issues that they have when you haven't paid them how much you owe them? Government is deliberately running down ECG, trying to pitch ECG against the public in the bit of selling ECG. You tell them that they are selling and they say there's no sale.
It's not sale.
There's a cabinet memo which I will show to you.
But you should have that
tells you that all the assets of ECG, movable and non-movable items, are supposed to be sold to the concessionaire.
No.
The only ones that are not supposed to go to them are not for sale is the training school and the headquarters of ECG. That's in the cabinet memo. Beyond that, there's component of fraud and forgery. I tell you something.
Who is forging what?
You know, MIDA and International Finance Corporation. MIDA is the government agency. They are supposed to have the MCC, Million Challenge Corporation, to operate their what they call the money that they want to give to Ghana. They assist them in doing all these sort of processes. MIDA and IFC is the transaction advisor appointed by the government to help with the whole arrangement. This document is something that came from MIDA. That is tariff methodology. And this particular document, this particular document is supposed to come from only the PURC. They equally wrote this letter. That is electricity distribution and sale licensing. This is supposed to come from Energy Commission. But you know what they did? They forged this and wrote them themselves. And I'll give you a letter to the effect that...
But you know the US government, through the Million Challenge account, is very much involved.
Yeah, in some of you don't... This is...
And you are talking about forgery.
Yeah. This particular group, this particular company, you know what they've done? After they forged these documents, PURC and Energy Commission wrote letter to them and told them that...
You say you have a cabinet memo. Where is it?
Now, I'll show you all those ones. Right? Don't worry. I'll give you right now. There are a lot of documents here. They wrote letters to them. They wrote letters to them indicating that they are against the fact that these people are...
So you're saying that...
all these documents.
So
what
summarily...
you need to do is that... You remember that one of the members...
And I know you're taking a certain action on
it. Yeah, there's a court action on this particular issue. Beyond that, I'll read the letters indicating the displeasure this PURC and Energy Commission...
well, you will not have the time to read the letters.
Let him show you the cabinet memo.
Richard Asante-Yabua is a member of the MPP's communication team. And then we also have Abraham Amalba. He's a member of the NDC's legal team.
The man is telling you that there's no time.
Where's the memo? Where's the memo?
I'll give you...
We're taking a break. When we come back...